Hi, everybody. Welcome back to, I'm going to say tea or any other beverage of your choice at the Ritz. So it's delightful to see you. And here we are, all gathered together in this lovely room again to talk about shoes. Now, I know we talked about shoes a few weeks ago, and that was really a fashion segment, how shoes are important to style and so on and so forth. Today, the shoes that I want to talk about are those specially made for problem feet. Now, I don't know about you, but I certainly have problem feet. There's a saying that people love to trot out, age is just a number. And I feel like saying, well, nobody's told my feet. And I've learned in some details that have been sent to me for this feature that in our average lifetime, we walk 115,000 miles, which is 5 times round the world. So no wonder by the time you're the grand old age of 72 like me, your feet hurt like crazy. So problem feet, hurting feet, shoes for feet that have got problems like bunions, plantar fasciitis, and so on and so forth. That's what I want to talk to you about. Now, I've been contacted by a couple of specialist shoe companies. One is called Calla and the other is called Sole Bliss. And they've contacted me because they've obviously noticed that I have something to say about what it means to be an older woman in the hope that I'm going to promote their products. Now, I don't know whether you know this, but there's a whole industry that's grown up around people, young girls often, who are called influencers. And they've got thousands, if not millions, of followers on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And what they do is they make their living and make a very good living out of promoting certain products. Now, I get very cross when people describe me as a beauty blogger, because that's what beauty bloggers do. They make their money out of promoting the certain beauty brands that send them stuff for free and then pay them to do the promotions that they're doing. So I want to make it very loud, say very loudly and clearly here, I'm not a beauty blogger. I'm the founder of Look Fabulous Forever, a business I started at the age of 65 to sell makeup for older women, specifically formulated for their faces. And that is what I do. That is what I'm here to promote. And if I wear something like a pretty blouse or a pair of earrings that I have bought for myself because I liked it. This blouse I bought in Oliver Bonus just before their shop shut because of COVID. It was about $49.95 and I love it. And it's a very pretty blouse. And good old Tulali earrings, I buy them. Have done for ever since they started, I think, because I like them and they are my choice and they're what I like to have. So if I mention something on here that you like the look of, what's happened over the last few weeks that I've been making these videos is that they've tended to sell really rather well. So it appears that I've become this, this thing called a bit of an influencer. However, and again, this is a very important thing for me to say, it's not what I think of myself as being, nor is it something I want to become. And for most of the time, in fact, all of the time, I'm just telling you about things that I have chosen. But not today, because actually these two companies, Calla and Sole Bliss, have contacted me and have sent me shoes to try, which I wouldn't have done had they not done so. Having tried them, I have to say I'm impressed, and I probably wouldn't mention them and wouldn't be showing them to you if I hadn't actually found them to fulfill the promises that they were giving me. That they will probably, both brands, give me a pair of these shoes to keep. I want you to know that so that you understand what the deal is, if you like. And I hope that makes it absolutely clear what it is I'm doing here. So shoes. Age is just a number. No, it isn't. My feet don't know that. But I have always loved pretty shoes. I can remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, I used to pop up to town and go into Harrods at a time when that was seen as a real treat. And near them in Knightsbridge was a shop called Charles Jourdain. I don't know whether you remember those, they don't exist anymore as a brand, but they were such beautiful shoes with very high heels, and they were always very glamorous, quite expensive. And I would sometimes treat myself to a pair of Charles Jourdain shoes. In fact, I think I might have been wearing on my wedding day, a pair of Charles Jourdain white lace boots. How glamorous was that? Anyway, as I said, I've always loved pretty shoes, but as I've got older, it's become more and more difficult for me to find shoes that I can bear to keep on my feet for longer than about 5 minutes. So today I'm going to talk about that really. What are the problems that women have with their feet? Well, to start off with, they have things called bunions, as I'm sure some of you have got. Now, for those of you who are not sure why or how bunions are caused, you might think they're caused by wearing very bad shoes when you're younger. But in fact, according to Calla of Sole Bliss, who sent me these facts, bunions are actually caused much more because of your heredity than because of the bad shoes that you've worn in the past. However, squeezing your feet into uncomfortable shoes is very likely to make the problem worse. Now, a bunion joint is, I can illustrate it with my hand here. So if this was my foot, this is my big toe, the first metatarsal wants to go towards the other foot, whilst the actual toe wants to go towards the other toes. So you're going to get this sort of right angle effect here with a big lumpy bunion, which is formed there. So the foot, instead of being straight at the edge, starts to have this terrible curve in it with this lump here. Now that obviously makes it very difficult to find shoes that will accommodate this extra width that your feet have because of the bunion joint. The other problem that older feet, by the way, as much as a third of older women over 65 have bunions, so you're definitely not alone if that's a problem that you've got. The other problem is something called plantar fasciitis. So this is your foot, so running from your heel to your toes is a thick band of tissue which becomes inflamed and causes terrible pain. The reason that people get that inflammation is because they perhaps put a lot of pressure on their heels for one reason or another. Running will exacerbate it, so will doing a lot of walking. So if you've had the job in the past where you're on your feet all day long, walking around, then you're much more likely to get that problem. So anything that absorbs the shock of the pressure of your foot against a hard surface is obviously going to be a very good idea, which is where these shoes come in. My own feet are problematic for 2 or 3 reasons. Basically because of the way that I was born with the feet that I've got. The first thing is that my left foot is a 4.5 and my right foot is a size 5, which means that when I buy shoes, I've obviously got to fit the biggest foot, and the other shoe has to be packed with insoles and an extra material, which pushes my foot up, and it means that they're then very sore across the top because my foot isn't in the right place in the shoe. The other problem I've got is that my feet are very square and fat. So they're wide, and I've actually got quite a high instep. So all of those challenges together mean that I have crammed my feet over the years into some extremely, unfortunately, misshapen for my feet shoes. Do you remember in the 60s when we had winkle pickers? I mean, winkle pickers had stilettos, and then they had these long, thin front bits with a great big bit at the front that you could sort of flap around almost. Now, they were absolutely the opposite of the kind of style of shoe that I needed. But anything that was the shape of my feet was frumpy and old-fashioned. I wouldn't wear them. I sort of feel a bit like that now about shoes. I do look at some shoes in the shops that are made for sort of short, wide feet like mine, and I think, oh, they're ugly things. I can't wear those. So I am quite picky when it comes to shoes. So it was with great in delight that I was sent basically 7 pairs of shoes, 3 from Calla, 4 from Sole Bliss, all of which I'm going to show you now. And in fact, last Friday, VE Day, I was going to pop round to my daughter's to have a nice slice of Victoria sponge cake. I told you a little bit about the decision that I took to do that on Monday. And lo and behold, in the morning I got up and I noticed that my toe, the one next to my big toe on my left foot, was bleeding. I thought, ooh, what's going on there? And it was sore, really sore. And I noticed that the nail was quite long, so I thought, oh, I'll cut that nail off. As I was cutting the nail was coming away from the nail bed. It was literally lifting off. So I've done some damage to that nail, and I've loosened it, and it's very sore indeed. So I just taped it up with some plasters, and it's still taped up with plaster, and I've been very careful when I've been washing and bathing. But what I needed was a pair of shoes that wouldn't be pressing on and hurting my toes. So I went to my 7 pairs of shoes that had been sent me and thought, what can I wear here? And came up with these from Calla, some sandals. It was a hot day as well. I was wearing a light pair of trousers, so these were perfect. Somewhere for my toes to go. And my problem of smaller left foot was solved by a bit of Velcro fastening here and the fact that I could make this strap go wherever I needed it to go to hold my foot in place. And then, of course, what these shoes are brilliant for, you can see they've got this supported bit here. I'll talk about that in a minute. They've got this bit, so a little gusset with elastic. So you can imagine if you've got a bunion joint here, these are going to be terrific because they're going to spread and accommodate your very much wider feet. And for my little short, fat, wide feet, these were the perfect shape for it. So big tick against Calla for those sandals, and I wore them. They were very comfortable, and my poor little toe and the rest of my toes were free to wriggle. Do you remember when we were children that we used to go in to get our shoes fitted, and there was a machine, a big brown machine, used to put your feet in, and I think it used to take an x-ray of your feet to check that your little bones were going to have lots of space to grow on your toes, because your shoes were that shape, had bulbous round bits at the end, and your Startrite or Clark's shoes were going to be a perfect fit for your little feet. I wish we had those now, because wouldn't it be brilliant to be able to pop your feet wearing shoes into a machine and just check that your toes had room to breathe? Mostly you just shove them in and you know that they don't. So let me show you the rest of the shoes. I'll show you the Calla ones first, and then I'll show you the Sole Bliss. So you've seen the sandals. This is the second pair of shoes that I looked at on Calla and thought I liked the look of. So what do these shoes need to have in order to be especially comfortable if you've got the problem of bunion joints and also plantar fasciitis? Well, the important thing is that you've got a padded sole that can absorb, as I say, the shock absorption of walking, and also things like this. Because feet tend to roll inwards, it's called pronating. So that obviously supports the foot and makes sure that doesn't happen. And then it needs to have a nice deep, wide toe box. So the box that your toes are going to fit into needs to be nice and wide. So you can see that for me, a shoe like this is going to be very supportive. It's going to give me the width I need here, and it's got this extra bit of support, and it's going to be lovely and soft and spongy. The third pair of Calla shoes that were sent me, I don't like very much, and I have to be honest. I'm showing you these because you might like the look of them. They'd be lovely with a summer dress. They're strappy, they're nice and light, obviously this light colour, and but they've got this kind of heel, and I just can't wear heels like this anymore. So they might have the width and also the adjustable strap here, and they've got all the, the softness and everything, but I would not choose to wear these shoes. I also am not terribly keen on the style, but some of you might like them. And as I said, they'd be a great summer shoe. So they're the 3 pairs of Calla shoes, and now I'm going to show you the Sole Bliss ones. I'm going to start with the pumps. Again, lovely suede navy. I do like the buckle here, nice bit of detail there. And can you see how this bit is elasticated, which is going to be brilliant for my left foot. So these are a size 5, but they're fine on my left foot. And these are so spongy and soft. When I put my hand in there, you know, you can just immediately feel just how much softness there is in a shoe like that. And they're very, very, very soft leather as well. This is the second pair of Sole Bliss shoes. These would be brilliant with a navy and white spotted jumpsuit that I bought a couple of years ago in the LK Bennett sale. The bottom half of this jumpsuit has got sort of wide, quite loose trousers, and it desperately needs a heel. If I put it on with flat shoes, as I do sometimes, it looks really matronly and frumpy, I think. These would be perfect with it. What I love about these is that your foot is pretty much flat, even though you've got a decent size heel on there and it's balanced by the platform. Adjustable strap again, and again you've got this section here to stop the pronating, and also the lovely softness again. And then the last 2 pairs of Sole Bliss shoes, both very smart. And what I like about these is the fact that they've got slim toe area, so they're not rounded toes, and that gives them a real sense of elegance. I'll show you the pink ones first. So, and again, they've got a block heel, a thick, really, really secure thing to stand on for any length of time. I'd much rather stand on a heel like that than a thin heel. All the padding as usual inside the wide shoe box, and also the adjustable sandals, adjustable straps, so no problems with that for my left foot. So they're the pink suede ones. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, lovely summery shoes. And these would be lovely for a winter evening, or perhaps for a wedding. They've got this ridged, shiny heel, and again you've got this bit for to support the foot and keep it straight, and all the soft padding and the width here. So I have to tell you, honestly, hand on heart, even though they're going to give me a pair from each firm, I did like them. Apart from the one pair that I wasn't very keen on, the strappy sandals from Calla. But they are definitely a cut above when it comes to softness, comfort, support, and the kind of thing that you need if you've got difficult feet, as I think I have, as I know I have, in fact. They're giving 10% discount off both the Calla and the Sole Bliss to our customers. So if you would like that, the code for that, it will be on the email that we've sent you, and we'll also put it underneath the video so that you might want to go onto their website and have a look and treat yourself with a 10% discount. So I do hope you enjoyed that, made a bit of a change, and do chime in on Super Troopers with all your experience of perhaps these brands, but also those things that you favour in terms of shoes that make a difference for your feet. And tomorrow, it's the end of the week, so I think we'll do a quiz, something like that, something to have a bit of fun for the end of the week. And I shall look forward to seeing you then. And KBO, I haven't said that recently, but we still have to do it, don't we? We have to keep going. Vigilant, stay alert and all that, but here we are still stuck indoors for most of the time, but KBO, we'll get there. Bye-bye, thank you.